Great poker is about technical prowess, being unpredictable and being adaptable. But most of all, it's about courage and a cool head. Two things Cash Game TV contestants have in spades. The stakes are high tonight, $5, $10 no limit hold'em with a buy-in of up to $2.5 grand. And the players on show are among the best PKR's tables I've ever seen. Joining me to dissect this session from the 20th of March is one of the poker world's rising stars, Team PKR Pro Scott Shelley.
Okay, new hand.
Oh my, what a treat. Six-handed,
New
high
hand.
stakes on PKR. Normally, Cash Game TV is 10 way,
Okay.
but we are hopefully going to see some strange stuff here. I tell you what, some of the best poker players on PKR, and Pat Ivy, perhaps not normally considered a cash game player, and I know one or two of these guys will be licking their chops thinking, yum, 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 Pat Ivy. But, you know, let's see how he does. Let's see if he acquits himself nicely. You know, he's got some money.
Oh, wow.
Wow, this is boom, straight
Let's
away.
have a 2K pot.
And you know I'm just calling for the no queen. Geppetti's got plenty of money. He doesn't need to outdraw Pat like this. Well, wow, there we go. Two grand pot straight off the bat. Well, Geppetto will snap reload.
That's
still
him.
think
That's
he's got
his
an edge here.
That was his case buy-in.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to buy in once.
Oh, we've got two new players.
Wow. Jenny Doom Masters winner. Pat Ivy, two-time Masters winner. Danny KK. Well, he's had quite a roller coaster on PKR over the last few years.
He's been around since I joined the site.
He has, yeah. Well, and Rachel from Frim's normally to be found at 1-2 and maybe some 2-4. Stepping up here. But the focus will be on Pat Ivy. Well, this is top pair against
the world.
The absolute
The
world,
zone
who's
was just...
actually a favourite equity-wise here, you can see.
Let's have the turn
Wow,
card.
they check it. Wow, the 52% favourites now lost chunks of his equity, and brother won't be looking to be getting in like 3 or 4 bets here. Rachel 100% going to be looking for value.
I call.
Wow.
Let's see the
Wow.
Unbelievable the way this hand has gone down.
This is pretty sick.
Do they know each other? Is this soft play? I know that there's no such thing as soft play between any of these guys. Even Brother and Rhyme and the rest just want to beat each other out of their money because money's money, right?
Oh, wow, he's overbet it.
Wow, that is so sick.
Is he paying him off?
I don't. There's way too much. I expect there's some history and some knowledge there that I definitely am not privy to. Overbets are a tricky thing. He pays him off. But how is that pot not bigger?
Yeah,
Check, flop, check. No, bet, call, turn.
I mean, if it depends on how the flop betting goes, it can quite easily be all in by the turn.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And if they get it in on the turn, you feel a little aggrieved to lose having turned top 2.
Yeah.
But
you go from slight underdog to pretty solid favourite.
But this is probably the most fascinating lineup I've ever seen on Cash Game TV. Really unusual. You've got a couple of tournament players there in Pat Ivy and Jenny Doom, won all their money in the Masters, and you've got these tough regs who aren't afraid to give action to get action.
Here comes the flop.
Wow. Geppetti's obviously got his cat on his lap.
Well, hopefully they're not all going to be brainless coolers like this. Hard to see how Danny can get away here.
I mean, if he flats here, then it's...
Let's have the turn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go check, bet, call.
Check.
Check, bet, call.
Yeah.
Geppetti's
got to try and get this pot big.
Yeah. I think he's doing a good job. He's going to have 350 in there by the river, piling 300 odd.
Yeah. Danny, no choice but to kind of bluff catch, essentially.
Yeah, I mean,
you?
as I said, it's definitely going to go check, bet, call.
Yeah.
You can't. It'd be a great lay down from Danny, but I just can't see him. I mean, I know Geppetti's opened and then barreled every street.
I mean, there is room for an overbet even, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, you can understand why they do it.
Okay, your punto.
Yeah,
He
300.
decides. I mean, what's the point in betting 298.98 instead of 350? Don't you think you're getting called either way? So you might as well get the extra $50-$60 of value. I don't really. Bet sizing is something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how you're trying to make your hand look, I guess.
Right. Okay.
I mean, the difference in like $10 in a bet size might make your opponent feel it's a lot stronger or weaker than really it is.
Okay. Well, Geppetto stacks off with Ace Queen against Ace King in hand number 1.
Okay, new hand.
Gets some of it back.
Yeah, he gets as much value as he could hope for there, really.
Yeah.
Lascio.
Mazzone's got a wide range, but I don't think the Jack Deuce falls inside it.
Pat, who of course we all remember came
Is it
fourth for.
Yeah, it was fourth.
So we don't remember that much. How much did he get? It was like 70 or 80 grand,
I
was
think it was 60, 70.
Okay.
I think so.
We're talking, of course, WPT Ireland final table in
Steve,
January.
Steve got like 40 odd, and he
Right.
came fifth, didn't
Yeah.
he? So yeah, I think it was like 65.
But Pat, he had an amazing journey to that final table.
Oh yeah, it
Busted a
was,
few of our guys along the way,
Yeah.
notably Mazzone when he flatted aces in late position. Mazzone picked up Jack 10 off in the blinds and shoved, which he'd done 2 or 3 times to squeeze. And, Pat played it just perfect in that spot, knowing Mazzone or 1 or 2 of the other guys were aggressive enough in the blinds to squeeze. But, he got lucky a couple of times as well. Got a massive stack and was a big chip leader at one point. Couldn't quite...
having the time of his life at one point, I think.
Mate, yeah. Him and his lovely lady had an absolute great weekend and had a great time partying at the end of the week as well.
Yeah, that was an incredible night
Great
out.
fun. And Pat in good shape here.
Stuck in a little min raise here. Now he's turning the flush draw.
I call. And here's
And there's the
river.
nuts.
Yeah, just in case.
Loving life, Pat Ivy. Final
Yeah.
tables WPTs. Just comes in.
Yeah, I would love to see him book a nice big winning session against all of these cynics here who believe that he hasn't proven himself on this kind of stage. And of course, it's a different kind of stage. This is high stakes, at least for PKR.
Yeah.
It's high stakes, short-handed cash game against some of the best young players in the business. Very tricky indeed. And, the stacks are getting bigger. It's hopefully we're going to see some real tough moves being put on each other.
See some really juicy pots build.
Yeah. Doing it for Sweden, these two.
I fold.
Brother makes it 3x. Danny, who's had what an adventure he's had on PKR. He'd been up and down. He ran into Bain at just the wrong point in Bain's career for anyone to run into him, really. And Bain was on a heater and maybe playing his best poker at that point.
Here comes the flop.
Not the first or last person to have a dent put in.
I'll have you know I'm up lifetime on cash games with Bain.
Yeah, a sample size of like 4 hands.
No.
Okay.
Those house games and PKR Live cash games have lasted longer than 4 hands.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure Bain has got A, B, C, D, E, and F games, and I wonder whether you've ever come up against him in his A. But, credit to you for trying, brother.
Bain Splain.
Yeah, Bain Schmain. All right.
I'm going to bet.
Yeah, tricky spot for Pat. He's up against an aggressive player. You're short-handed. You think your ace can be good
Here comes
enough
the
of the
river.
time here. Smallish pot, though.
Check.
Obviously, you're going to be catching Brother Mazzone in a bluff. Enough of the time here that you can call.
It's kind of tricky. I mean, how did the flop action go?
There you go.
Because I don't think he was ever folding. He was ever folding to Mazzone's river bet.
I think it was check, call,
Yeah.
check, call. But Pat avoids losing a big one there.
New hand.
And
Gosh.
Brother really kind of like Brother Mazone
Okay,
kind
new
of
hand.
controlled that one a fair amount. You find that one pair, unless they're getting it in on the flop, is
Yeah,
it's not enough for these guys to get 100 bigs in.
No, it's a case of balancing between getting as much value as possible and not overplaying your
Yeah.
hand. Goals just joined the table.
Yeah, that's right. And Pat is getting hand after hand
lascio,
here.
I'll
Io
raise.
lascio.
Queen 3 of clubs. Enough for the brother to get involved.
Call.
Yep.
Je suis.
Decides not to put pressure on Pat, though, which I'm surprised. I would have thought he'd
Call.
maybe try and beat him up a bit.
Here
Um,
comes the flop.
We're doing pretty sick
I
if that was
check.
ace 3-3.
All right, well, we're 4
Okay.
away. Nothing for Danny.
Yeah, ace queen and ace jack
I
really
check.
the only two of anything here, and they've both checked it through to the brother who's
And
I
here's
check.
the turn
Yeah,
gonna
card.
check it
Jenny,
back.
Jenny decides. I mean, I know a lot of other players
Jenny's-
would have 3-bet there.
Yeah.
from
I
the-
would
from
have
the
definitely
small.
3-bet once it goes min open and
Uh,
a button flat.
You think Brother Mazone's most of the time with a hand that with a decent
Oh,
sized pair.
Mazone's never got a better hand than ace queen when he flats the
Oh,
button. I
right.
don't think
See
there.
the river.
It just I can't see it
Yeah.
ever. Great card here for Jenny
Jenny's-
Doom because Pat Ivy's thinking he's chopping with every ace.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty small pot and
I would have liked to have overbet this river. This is a great spot for it. Just because the busted flush draw.
I fold.
Wow.
Pat gets away, and
That's really surprising me.
somewhat of a
because
surprise, and
I
it
think
was a
that's-
smallish bet
yeah,
on the
I
end.
feel that's a much easier call than the one against Mazone.
Right.
Because the one against Mazone, it was a
Okay,
free
new
flush out
hand.
there. There's a Broadway possible out there, and it's not a paired board. It's a
Okay,
board
new
where
hand.
2 pair hands
Yeah.
and shit like that is gonna just pop up.
Yeah. Well, there's the difference.
Yeah,
Ace
that's
6 one way, ace jack the other.
Lascio.
I mean, they were both losing hands in the end, but I
Yeah.
just feel the second one was a much
Right.
easier call.
Right.
Bit of a caller here.
Wow. Is Mazone going to be happy to 4-bet this? Is the question after the 3-bet arrives.
See, I never know what I'm doing in a cash game with jacks. Seriously, don't have a
Okay.
clue if I should be stacking off or not.
Well, I guess the way that Jake Cody
Like, I mean-
analyzes it, you just have to know that, or the way that Bain talks through hands, you have to know how often your opponent is going to be
Let's see
shoving
the flop.
lighter than
Yeah.
jacks for
Yeah,
a
but if
5-bet.
if you have no history on the player,
Yeah, indeed.
That's what I
Indeed.
mean.
Well, then I guess you're going to be. Well, it depends.
like stake
It
dependent.
depends
if
what
it
you
d-
want your stakes and your image to be. Are you happy to make a mistake for a lot of money and then move on with your new knowledge,
Yeah,
or do you control it a little bit first time round and see?
I mean, here it's a bit different just because they're playing like
Let's
300
have
bigs
the turn
deep.
card.
Well, Mazonas, I don't know how much
Yeah.
Danny's playing. Well, okay, he's playing 100 bigs.
Yeah. And Danny C-bets you can't be put off by the ace. He gets called by brother. Doesn't necessarily mean the kings are behind, but it shuts him down a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when it goes bet call, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have ace in their hand. They're
And the-
playing, they're
yeah.
both really good players. They're going to be like,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh dear. Well, he's not going to get masses of value against Danny. But then again, if he has an ace, does Brother Muzone bet the turn? You would think he probably does.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's going to get value from kings here.
I mean, he might not necessarily bet the turn with an ace, but I'd say there's a good percentage of the time he does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see it being
A-
check bet call.
And
here.
well, Danny has to put him on a few other hands as well as an ace here when
Yeah.
we see the inevitable value bet on the end. Oh, and it's an awful spot for Danny, really. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of hard because it's like, what sort of hand does he bet? Because he's checking back the hands that he's calling the flop with that's not an ace.
yeah.
Call.
He calls quick and he sees the bad news.
Yeah.
It could have been a much bigger pot lost.
Yeah, if Mazone 4 bets it pre,
Yeah.
then yeah, he gets the
Okay,
lot.
new hand.
Smack Crack MC.
MC,
That's a cool
yes.
username.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it. And that looks
hopefully-
like old Rhyme there. That avatar on the left.
He sure does.
Who was sat there before? It was Mazone, wasn't it?
Raise.
I find it hard to believe brother would have left at this point. I think he would imagine this
I
was a
fold.
pretty good table for him.
Io lascio.
All right, blind on blind. Oh no, sorry, what am I talking about?
Here
Danny's
comes
opened.
The flop.
Geppetto defends and flops top pair and a gut shot.
Both backdoor hearts.
Check.
65 in the pot. It's not much.
Bet.
Got to go for some value. And
And here's the turn
Vedo.
it's a
card.
fairly decent size. It's not the worst turn in the world. Danny will still be happy.
Yeah, I think he prefers that card to like an 8,
Yeah.
for example, or maybe some jacks and stuff.
Geppetto, well, I think, again, it's one of these situations where neither of them is happy to be getting more than just the one bet in on each street.
Yeah, you could. A lot of the cases, like we're seeing now, it's going to go check, bet, call.
And
Vedo.
here's the river.
This is sort of an irrelevant river, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, Queen Jack got there, but
And,
with for Danny KK, he's got 2 queens in his hand, so he's not going to be putting his opponent on Queen Jack.
well, we can see that there's still more value to be had.
Yeah, I think you've got to bet this.
And the one of the keys to being a really good cash player at this level is extracting
Yeah.
the value as much as you can in these situations, not playing too coy about it. How much is he going to go for? 406 in the middle. He's got 771. Is it worth half pot?
Bet.
More
bit more.
than. And a tricky spot for Geppetto, who's going to have to call 3 barrels.
Io lascio.
Yeah, nice read. And he gets out of the way.
Yeah, good pass to pay.
This is decent level stuff. Here we are.
Yeah, it was Mazzone who's left.
Right. Made way for Rhinoceros.
Okay, new hand.
They probably had a side bet to see who gets the seat.
Right.
Okay, new hand.
Like they gambled somehow. It's like, yeah.
Lascio.
All right, here we go.
Ok, io rilancio.
7s for Geppetto. Makes it 3x. Rhyme, it's only a 2-hour session.
Je me
Not a
coupe.
huge amount of opportunity here. Probably going to get like, what, 120, 130 hands in? Got to try and make hay.
I raise.
Danny's got a nice looking hand, and I like it. I mean, we've seldom seen kind of 3 bets like this at this table.
Yeah, this is the first one where it's a bit of a... He's opening up his range a bit. I mean, it's a great hand to 3-bet with,
Here's the flop.
just because it flops so well, as you
Oh,
can see.
Absolutely
Against
marvelous
a
flop.
set of 7s.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of hands play fairly kind of standard 1 bet and a call.
Can I have 2-1 on the Queen 9 of diamonds
Bet.
before it goes to the turn?
No, because I know you can have. No, I'm not.
2-1. Look at the percentages.
No, I know, but why? But I want to scam you and give you like 5%
Yeah.
less.
All in.
No, I think Geppetto is 100%.
The
We're
turn.
definitely going to get there.
He's like 100%.
We're going to get there.
This is
No.
the river.
See, you would have won.
That's okay, mate. I've already taken enough money off you in my life.
We know it.
Yeah. So, I guess we get a
Okay,
totally
new hand.
different type of Cash Game TV episode from
Okay.
this than
new
we
hand.
do our usual.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 max for starters.
Io lascio.
So it's going to be like a different dynamic.
Lascio.
Yeah.
Raise.
But yeah,
Does it make for a better or worse
I
I think a
show
better
in your
game.
mind? Better game, I suppose.
just for, you're going to see more action. I think in a full ring game, you're going
I-
to just see more standard
I,
hands.
I guess I would have hoped it was going to be a bit more explosive than this, rather
Yeah.
than these guys playing these kind of like
I mean,
raise.
small,
As you can
intricate
see now, we're
situations.
starting to open up a bit and see
Yeah.
some plays. I mean, you won't really see this on a full ring table because it's just not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Although, to be honest, a lot of the time,
I mean, we
guess
see some crazy ass stuff on
we
the full
do
ring
see a
stuff.
lot of crazy
But
ass
like-
stuff. But I guess this is the higher stakes. People really want to be
And this is going to happen when the TV cameras aren't there.
right. Yeah,
When it won't on the smaller tables. This is going to happen all the time, these sort of plays.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not advising people just to play big stakes
Yeah.
and just check cool with these guys, but
Yeah.
they are going to be at it a fair
All
bunch
in.
of the time.
and a lot of these kind of unorthodox or seemingly unorthodox plays, and that's a
Fold.
great shove from Danny. They're going to be plays where people are trying to mix it up and balance their ranges,
Okay, new
because
hand.
at this level you have to avoid being unpredictable, and
New
it seems, certainly Bain says that that's probably the single most important factor once you've got the fundamentals to play at this level, is the differences between them is that you have to be
Vedo.
you have to be unpredictable. You have to keep your opponents guessing, and you have to keep adapting. Otherwise, you're going to be dead in the water,
call.
Yeah.
even if you can win at 2-4.
Here's the flop.
Nice play by Danny in the previous hand. 2 overs he's faced with, and he's out of position.
Check.
White flag from him. Golger, nothing, which, well, I suppose he's got backdoor flush draw, but
Punto.
he's got nothing enough for him to try and win the pot right here.
Io vedo.
And another hand where someone's got nothing, someone's got a little bit more than nothing, and so we're likely to see kind of bluff catcher against bluff.
I mean, you'd imagine Danny's going to fold, and we've got to hope for something like the 7 of diamonds to start some
Ooh,
action.
I would love it if he
The
3-bets here,
turn
but does not happen.
These goals are going to barrel again. So,
It depends, I guess, how often you think Geppette's
Punto.
either floating you with nothing, which we've seen him,
yeah, and
capable
if
of
he's
doing.
passing an 8 here,
Well,
or
yeah, if he's passing something less than an ace,
This is the river.
king's an interesting card.
I think he might just go check bet call now. He's going to think he's good.
Check.
Bet he's going to get some value. The goal's just going to feel like he's got the best hand now.
Yeah, it's played perfectly for Geppette, who ordinarily would get 2 streets.
Oh, he's checked back there.
Wow. And he'll see that, and
Taking the safer
and
option
he'll
there.
probably see
I
that
mean-
and think he made the right check on the end, because
Okay,
most of the
new
time that
hand.
king wouldn't have come, and therefore
Yeah, I think
he wouldn't have got value.
these guys know each other quite well. There might be a bit of history where they like to do some funky stuff, and
Right.
checking back there is probably the most profitable line.
Tough lineup, and they played tough against each other.
Fold.
Standard hand for
Raise.
head open here.
Fold.
Matt Crack, who made the
Ooh.
3-bet with the 3-6 of diamonds, decides not to do it this time with the 2-5 of hearts.
Goals is going to be 3-betting, I believe.
Io
Yeah.
rilancio.
And how much does he go for? 75 more.
It wouldn't shock me to see this go in,
Really?
just because I think Danny's 4-betting this a bunch, just because he thinks Goals is just playing back from the blinds. I might be wrong,
Right.
but once he 4-bets, I think Goals gets it in.
Raise.
There we go. And now Goals is shipping for like 1k.
So Danny's 4-betting not for value, but it's more to kind
I
of
think it is
not be
value.
forced. Well,
Ah,
right, but
really?
he's found out that he's
Yeah, but now, now it's just like, oh,
right.
I'll be interested to see what he does here actually.
Yeah, because I
I just always
certainly-
saw him 4-betting once Goals 3-betted there.
Okay.
That's why I thought it might go in, just because if he
And is it also a momentum and
Cool.
initiative
There we
type
go.
of thing? Wow,
There
and
you
he
go.
gets it in, and
Yeah.
Here comes the
and
flop.
some people might look at this and say, well, he just got in 100 bigs
This
with ace
is
10,
the
but there's
river.
an awful lot more going on there,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I just had a sense for it when he first opened and I saw the kings in the big, that it was obviously going to go 3-bet, and I just had a strong feeling he was going to 4-bet.
So the point there is that you shouldn't really be 4-bet folding.
Okay, new hand.
I mean, it's
at
not.
this-
No, I don't think it's wrong to be 4-bet folding, but I think maybe hands.
Not
to
with
be-
hands that have that much value.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
4-bet
because you
fold.
don't, yeah,
with-
you don't know if you're doing it for value or as a bluff.
I see.
I mean, do it with like the king deuce, where you know if you get
Rilancio.
ripped on, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is an easy fold.
Okay.
I've been to a lot of these guys. They think you should be either snap folding or snap calling when goal ships there.
Right.
So you should either have a
You
hand.
should be knowing.
You should be knowing what
basically
you
why you were 4-betting in the first place.
you were doing it to induce a shove or you were doing it to bluff.
Okay.
Okay, new hand.
But hey, these guys are the pros at this sort of thing, not me.
And certainly
New
not me.
hand.
But there's a huge amount of thought that goes into a
Yeah.
situation that
I fold.
to some people who
Yeah.
perhaps only play tournaments, that would seem like
Yeah.
a fairly straightforward situation. But
Call.
very tricky indeed.
I mean, in a tournament, you're never going to get in 100 bigs with
Here
ace 10.
Yeah.
comes the flop.
But in a cash game, there's a chance it's going to happen. Like that.
Punto.
well, nothing for either of these two, and Geppette wants to win it right here.
Let's have the turn
call.
card.
Somewhat of a backdoor straight draw, but doesn't materialise.
Rhymes
And-
does, though.
Yeah, Rhymes got a gut shot.
Check.
Geppette gives up. Can't see how this hand's going to get that
Check.
interesting, really. And
Let's see the river.
well, blank river. Geppette's good, Any
Check.
sense? No, he.
I think he might have an
You
idea.
feel,
he's good.
yeah,
I
well,
think,
it's certainly.
I think he's going to be calling a better, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then Rhyme might well think that his king's. No,
yes. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Rhyme to check back there.
Rhyme goes. Do you
Reveal.
think that's a value bet with King High? I don't know.
Nah,
right.
I think he might be trying to get off ace high hands.
All right, well, high stakes. It's a rare treat and some tricky play. Well, cash game action doesn't get any tougher and trickier than that. Short-handed and high stakes. It's not something we'd advise most people to get stuck into, but it is the place to aim if you want to become a cash game star, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you start playing cash games, your aim is to move up in the stakes, and these are the high stakes we offer. These are the creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme of the PKR cash game.
Well,
players.
Pat Ivy was involved there. What's the verdict on him? He did finish as our winningest player with $1.5 grand. Verdict, in your opinion?
The guy can obviously play tournaments. Whether he's good enough on the cash game tables or not, I think.
In that tough lineup,
Exactly.
anyway.
Some of the regs may not see him as a good a player as them, but he can play.
Yeah, he can definitely play. Well, he finished the most up. The guy who got the wooden spoon today is Danny KK, $3.5 grand down, but he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make a return.
Well, congrats, Pat. That was a good performance, and thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.